There's a difference between asking someone to unfollow models or OnlyFans creators and people who they went to high school or college with. If it's the former, much more healthy to unfollow for insecurity reasons and uncomfortable fact that so wants to list after other people. If it's the latter, very murky territory, unless it's former exes or something of that nature. So wants to list after other people. I know it's a typo, but I got a laugh from picturing someone leaning to the side towards someone. I used to have Instagram and Snapchat. In my bachelor days I had followed and been followed by a lot of girls. I would sometime get naughty snaps from random girls I had met briefly or had a one night stand with. My wife didn't get mad about it, but she questioned me once why my socials were full of girls. So I sat and thought about it, and what I came up with was that it wasn't a great thing to have all these girls, especially when I hardly knew them. So I deleted my socials as it was easier than unfollowing them all, and I've never looked back. Me and my husband did the same thing. I just did it anyway, because it felt disrespectful, and I know it would hurt her. I just did it too because there's really no reason for me to look at hot chicks when I already have a hot chick that is in love with me. I did it for an ex. I asked her to do the same, and she came up with excuses. I'm single, I have my attractions, but when I'm in a relationship I don't let my eye wander. I've learned from watching the relationships of friends and cousins, and honestly it's a small ask, but it has to be reciprocal. If not, then it should be discussed. Yes, I agree that it has to be reciprocal. There is a fine line here, but I'll give my 2 cents. When you really care for someone, you also consider their feelings and emotions. When there is a good foundation of trust and respect, you should be able to bend a little bit, because you are right, but because you care enough about that person's feelings. Now I'm gay, so I can't talk about straight men. However, if I was with a woman, and she confessed that she felt uncomfortable with me following Instagram girls, I'd simply unfollow them. It would be my understanding that her feelings are more important. I'm not defending controlling demands, but I don't get why it's such an issue for straight men to unfollow half-naked models on IG. Like, why is it such an issue? What's the context? And why would you want him to do that? I don't follow IG models, but I do follow most of my graduating class from HS. Some of them are objectively attractive. It wouldn't be a big deal to unfollow them, but it would be a big deal that my partner was that insecure about herself. I don't know that it's saying she's insecure about herself. It could be that she has trust issues. Frankly, a lot of people have trust issues due to being cheated on. I agree with a lot of posters here that taking your partner's history into account is important. If you're not willing to take your partner's experience into consideration, then you hug the red flag line. I was cheated on in my previous marriage. My current partner has always said that if I ever want to see their texts, I'm welcome to. I never have felt the need, but I appreciate the willingness. Definitely something I couldn't care less myself, which in turn is something I wouldn't understand at first and probably question if she has security issues, but in the end I ended deleting them anyways. I really don't care for having any ex on social media. I want my to feel safe and cared. As a single dude, I don't follow attractive random girls or any exes on SM, as it's just weird and cringy. The real answer. Exes and strangers, I'd say it's fine to require an unfollow. Lifelong friends, no. Although some boundary are reasonable. In my mind there is no reason to even introduce that kind of scenario into a relationship. I have never heard a reasonable justification for why anyone should stay followed to girls they are only following because they are attractive. I think any emotionally aware man should be able to anticipate that this might introduce some negative feelings and preemptively choose to avoid that by simply unfollowing those accounts. Why risk upsetting someone you care about over something so meaningless? Also, I feel like these guys would also feel very disrespected if their girlfriend followed thirst trap guys openly, said things like she just likes to look, but would never try anything. It is just disrespectful, but the woman in the relationship can't bring it up without being called controlling. Thank God my husband doesn't do this shit. In a relationship you really should always be thinking, would I like it if the situation was reversed? And don't do S asterisk 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 to your partner you wouldn't want done to you. Random Insta hoes or Facebook friends you know eye roll? Big difference. I feel like there's two different conversations going on here, and I'm too old for one of them. Actual friends on Facebook, or whatever just because they're attractive? Yeah, that's a huge red flag, and if she doesn't get over them, her insecurities are gonna tear the relationship apart sooner or later. Top. And maybe I'm wrong cause I don't actually have Instagram, and on the surface it doesn't seem that different from a maxim in the bathroom, but specifically following accounts and having an app where you're often scrolling models' bikini pics all the time seems a bit disrespectful to a partner. Sure it's not Tinder, but the specificness and parasocial aspect of it puts it on a diff level to me than just porn. But again you won't be sitting on the couch next to your GF randomly scrolling porn while watching TV like you would Insta. Reminded me of this one TikTok where this girl is laying on her boyfriend's chest and looking at his phone through a mirror while he's actively scrolling through Insta and scrolls back up to any picture of a hot girl to like it while he's cuddling with her. It's not. I don't really follow any other girls and I understand that she would not like to see me looking at other women. I also wouldn't want her looking at other dudes. Why would I follow back quote hot women social to begin with? Cause they hot. Unfollowing my attractive friends would be ridiculous to ask. I'd consider unfollowing my ex, though I'd first insist that it's not necessary because I have zero romantic interest in my ex. No romantic interest, okay. But what about sexually attraction? When I've been with exes they have always told me what photos they love about me, find attractive and arousing. Can be a casual selfie to certain poses, etc. Would you suddenly find your ex not as sexually appealing, even if she posted a photo in a dress that used to drive you wild? I always find it strange when an ex still follows me while dating someone else. You just posted a photo with your GF and a couple seconds later liked a casual photo of me in those white shorts that gave you instant hard-ons. It blows my mind and makes me sad that his GF has no idea. The romantic attraction is gone, but IDK about you. But the sexual tension and attraction is usually pretty strong with me and my exes. I'm starting to think most people never had such chemistry/attraction with their exes. No, I don't think it's weird. I won't unfollow my friends, whether they are attractive or not. But I understand exes. And I personally unfollow attractive women I'm not friends with because why do I need to follow them? Bro, is social media worth your real life relationships? Just delete the shit. It's always been sad for me to watch adults argue over who they should or shouldn't be attached to in some stupid virtual reality. Decide what's more important, your imaginary internet relationships or the one in front of you in your real life. I don't have Facebook anymore and rarely use Instagram, and you know what's funny? Some people I have dated considered that a red flag. Nah, what good comes from following a bunch of girls that just stoke insecurity and whiffy? Especially the exes, it just distracts you from priority. This guy knows what's up. If he follows accounts of, say, female actresses or TV personalities or musical artists, sports stars or athletes, outdoorsy/adventure influencers, etc. and these women happen to be attractive, then it seems unreasonable to ask him to stop following them, as he's likely not following them solely because of their looks. However, if he follows the accounts that only post half-naked selfies or the reels and TikToks of them shaking their asses and tits, or pages that repost only this type of content, then it seems reasonable that this would make you uncomfortable and therefore reasonable to ask him to unfollow them. It's not up to your partner to decide what does or doesn't make you uncomfortable. He can choose not to unfollow them and damage or end the relationship as a result. But if something reasonable makes you uncomfortable and you ask him to stop doing it, then that doesn't seem ridiculous. Female, but I'd bail on a guy that wants to follow exes and other women he fancies on social media. I don't do that sort of thing and want the same mindset in a partner. It tells me he doesn't respect me and isn't serious about the relationship. The trick is to not use toxic fake social media at all. The irony of saying that on a super toxic social media's platform like Reddit is hilarious to me. It depends on the circumstances, but in general, yes, because it's controlling, toxic behavior. This is especially true if they're friends and relatives. If they're random celebs, I'd still think it's ridiculous. If it's sex workers, like OnlyFans, I'd get it. My partner had over 2k women he was following, most OnlyFans and sex workers. I asked him to unfollow them. This caused a major rift in our relationship. He said he shouldn't have to cause I was insecure. I'm not insecure, just didn't see the need to have that many of that content on a page. It has now basically ended our relationship. No, because how she feels is how she feels. If I can help her feel better I would, and unfollowing random people is something I'm okay with doing. No, because it's a small ask from someone you love to help them be more comfortable. Considering that I'm not following anybody on any social media platform, that would be an easy enough request to fulfill. You know the SN, so stands for significant right. So if she is significant enough you shouldn't have to look at any others. I want to hug you for this comment.